Did you go skiing?
Oh, no, 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 no.
I see. So it was just a visit to Khvalynsk.
Yeah, yeah. So it is a huge territory, and also we swam a lot there, walked a lot, and try to relax.
Okay, so
I'm really
you
sorry.
can switch off the sounds and
Yeah.
stay with us.
Thank
Stay with
you.
us. So Lena, how was your trip? Your week, not
A
trip, week.
week, yeah. We
Yeah.
did not go anywhere special.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when I finally sent the email with the recording of the lesson and my lesson plan, I felt like I am out of the woods and now I'm free. And so 3 days off, I had 3 days off, and that was really great. But I just, they flew by.
Mm-hmm.
It was very
Quickly,
quick,
yeah.
yeah. And so we didn't have anything special, just visited family and friends. But so try to relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my greatest achievement, I suppose, was yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I said my because so actually my younger daughter now finally learned to swim, and she swam yesterday for the first time. But my achievement, because that cost me a lot of effort to provide these classes for her, to go to Saratov so regularly,
Really.
and so that's why I suppose it's our common effort.
Um,
So
you
my
know,
no,
a big victory of yours. I see.
yeah, of
Wow.
our family, because our older daughter started to swim when she was 1 year and 3 months,
Uh-huh.
and she swam. So from her first class, uh, he swam really, and I supposed it would be so easy with the younger one, but
It
it was
wasn't.
not.
Oh.
So she swam from her first days of her life, but so she's almost 3, and she swam on her own only yesterday.
I see. So this is just I don't know, the proof that we are all different.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't forget that as teachers, that all of our
Mm-hmm.
students are unique in their own way. Hello, Svetlana, happy to see you. We're
Hello.
sharing the news, effort, challenges, and achievements. So how was your week?
My week. So I am not. I can't say that I'm absolutely swamped this week, but still, I need to revise my timetable a bit. Yeah, and somehow it's an uphill struggle in some cases, and I overwhelmed a bit overwhelmed by information, new information.
With,
But,
yeah, overwhelmed with, uh-huh.
will
Yeah,
overwhelmed
yeah. Good,
with
no, good usage of language.
new information, but still I'm satisfied with that
Great.
because I'm challenged enough when I'm
Uh-huh.
challenged enough, and it works of being stressful a bit. It boosts me to
Mm-hmm.
continue
Yeah, yeah, true.
keep it,
Absolutely.
to keep at it.
Right. Well, you have demonstrated that you did your homework well, and I want you to focus a little bit on the language. And deal with the questions. When do you usually choose to get the lie in at the land rather than act spontaneously? So, are there any situations or, you know, uh, cases in life when you choose to get the lie in the land. So, well, think about work, family matters, daily routines, very important decisions that you have to take from time to time. So it could be any aspect of your life.
So I could, I suppose, give an example.
Mhm.
I got the lie in the land when I chose the school for my daughter.
Mhm.
So, and I asked everyone, and
Mhm.
so every pupil, every teacher from that school, I suppose.
Mhm.
So does it count?
Well, I think it
I got
does.
the land.
So when you choose
The land.
to get the lie in the land, do you remember the meaning? What do you do?
So
To
you
think.
learn some information, you gather some
Yeah.
information about it.
You take time to think and
Uh-huh.
consider the options, yeah?
Mhm.
Or
About
to make a
advantages.
decision. Yeah.
When we choose the new course with our students, I suppose
Mhm.
it's a good idea to take the lie in the land and
Mhm.
so finally choose the best.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I suppose when we make decisions about our children, we always
Yeah.
choose to get the line in the land, or
Mhm.
talking about our jobs, maybe we
Yeah, like
also
usually
have,
more important decisions in life.
yeah, we have to think.
When we want to move as the place where we live now and
Yes,
buy
absolutely.
Yeah.
an expensive house or
Mhm.
Well, in my case, I've learned it. It's the life lesson for me. When I'm tired in the evening, not to make decisions. I usually say, well, I'll think about it tomorrow, and I choose to get the lie in the land, especially not to say something, critical or negative to other people. Like I'll think it through and then make a decision. So we move on. Let's have a look at the next one. When was the last time you were swamped with work?
Always.
Always. So
So a
what,
few
what,
days ago,
what I mean is when you feel really unhappy about it.
unhappy.
Yeah, yeah. When it's a bit too much, a bit too much.
when I don't
Not really
when I did wait,
Let's do it in turns. Svetlana,
sorry.
please. That's okay.
when I didn't take time to relax a bit, like when I don't, I didn't care for myself and didn't have when I don't have a day off, like on Sunday, and I do nothing for several hours, like 5 or 4 hours a day.
No, I
Mhm.
see.
For
No time for a
example, no
break.
cooking, no household chores, and like put everything away. Just look after yourself, myself. I mean.
Yeah, got that. Anya?
So yesterday I was a little bit swamped with recording the video. I mean, I couldn't change the format of the video, and it was really complicated for me. It was really stressful because I recorded the video on Wednesday, and yesterday I was doing my best to change the format. And so when I did it, I was really satisfied and can breathe easily.
I see. Okay. So I haven't seen the video yet, but I downloaded it. So it worked well, perfectly. Good job. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Lena, any examples
No.
in
Usually when even the idea of being swamped with work comes into my mind, something happens, and I have some time to relax. So, for example, yesterday, so there were some obstacles that I have pretty much time to relax and spend with my family, despite the fact that I have to go to work. So everything like I don't know how to say. So mixing well, yeah, you know. So I've got time for everything, and so I enjoy my work. So there are very rare cases when I'm really swamped with.
So the work-life balance is good.
Yeah, balance. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
the
try to
work-life-
balance, to keep the balance in my life.
Yeah, and in English they usually say this work-life balance. Yeah, that's
Work-life balance.
balance,
Mhm, thank you.
hyphenated. Yeah, it's really good. So that's the main thing. If you work hard, you need to keep the balance, right? And one more question. When was the last time you tried or did something, but then realized it had just been a drop in the ocean? Well, you might think of teaching when you really work hard and then you look at the progress of your students and you see, oh, it's just a drop in the ocean.
Learnings, learning CPD, professional development, seems to be a drop in the ocean. Sometimes it seems to be, and it looks like always not enough.
I see. Like, it's not true. You know that? You're doing good. You're doing well, and never, it's a provocative thought, but try not to get hooked. Any other cases of doing something which is kind of not enough?
You know, I can think of only one example. I've got a friend of mine who lives in Moscow, and she always seems to be frustrated, unsatisfied with her life. And every time I try to cheer her up or to help her somehow, it seems to me that it was just a drop in the ocean and nothing will help in this case.
I see. Okay. Right. So it happens. People are different, right? Well, if we summarize, the language aspects, if you look at page 42, there were some idioms, and we remember that we do not overuse them. Otherwise, the language will be mechanical and not natural. So which phrases did you choose to focus on? The ones that you think are widely used and you really like to activate, put in active practice?
I've chosen to be out of the woods.
The lie of the land.
A slippery slope.
A slippery slope.
I think a slippery slope is a very common one.
Yeah.
This one, a drop in the ocean, is quite common. When something is an uphill struggle, do you remember what's that?
It's
When making progress
is very difficult.
Yeah, an uphill struggle or a losing battle. Yeah, well, those words are also quite common. Be swamped with work or be bogged down with something, kind of understandable, right? The only thing that we remember with idioms that they're fixed. So it means that we use the correct articles like get the lie in or a drop in the ocean. So we never, well, they are fixed and we can't change the structure. So if we use them, right? Only the structure of the verbs can be changed. Like, Right. We're moving, and today we are going to talk about senses. Very often, specialists say that there are 5 senses that we use and we rely on. What are those 5 senses?
Vision,
Vision,
hear. So when
the
we
ability
hear,
to hear,
the ability to
Smell.
hear, to smell,
mhm,
to taste, and
Touch.
to touch.
To touch.
yeah. So smell and taste are quite different. Yeah, like yeah, though they are very similar, but they are quite different. So which senses do we usually rely more on?
When we live or when we teach.
Anywhere.
So as for me, I always rely on my vision more. I'm the
Vision.
visual
Visual learner, yeah.
learner. Yeah.
Svetlana, what do
Me
you say?
I think I am. I can use all senses. I can say that I'm a visual person, but if the visual support or like, I mean, I love something beautiful, and I remember things better if the picture is attractive for me. And I also hear words very well. I remember them.
So hearing helps.
Mhm.
And so what about smell and taste? Is it important if you think about smell around?
I suppose, yeah, because when I didn't have a chance to smell, it was not really great. It wasn't, yeah, so nice not to understand what are you eating, yeah,
Yeah.
to taste.
This is more about taste. I remember those people who lost taste in COVID. Yeah, like they complained that life became really kind of boring when you can't taste things.
Yeah.
But smell is also important. Yeah. When we talk about the sixth sense or a sixth sense, what do we usually mean in any language? In English,
Intuition.
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 So what about intuition? Do you rely on your intuition a lot?
Mostly, yeah. I try to rely on my intuition to follow, but sometimes we need to stop and to analyze the situation, not to make the instant conclusion decision.
Any other? Well, with age, with life experience, do you rely on your intuition more or less?
Less.
Less.
Personally, I always try to analyze the situation, and I don't usually rely on my intuition.
Okay. So what I want you to do now, please open your books at page 44. So we are going to talk about a little voice in our heads, intuition. And on page 44, we have a quick quiz with 8 questions. So what I want you to do now, please go through the questions and choose what is your answer. It's rather A or it's B. I know that some questions are kind of maybe awkward or you do not agree with A or B. Well, choose the answer which is closer to you. when you're ready with your decisions. So let me know that you're ready. Okay, let's kind of compare. Well, again, I know that there are probably no perfect answers that would describe you, but you would rather choose A, or you would rather choose B for a reason. So compare the answers. Let's do it this way. Let's very quickly go through the questions. Lena, pick number 1. So what do you have? And ladies will respond if they have the same or different.
I've got A, because when you are inside the place, it's very important that you enjoy the atmosphere. I can't say that I notice the furniture or some things like that, but the general impression is more important for me. So that's why I've chosen A.
So what do you say, ladies? Do you agree on that?
I agree with Yana.
Anya, please pick the next one.
So
what do you...
when I meet a new colleague and have a bad feeling about them, I try to ignore my feeling and try to talk, to have a small talk, a quick talk with them, maybe to go to a cafe and try to know them, to meet with them.
Well, are your first impressions usually accurate in general if it's not about a colleague?
No, but I'm trying to work with it.
Svetlana, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with Anya. And first, so I've got million of cases when the first impression can be so not accurate. I mean, my first impression, and I try to ignore the feeling and then know the person better, or in the situation or whatever.
So Svetlana, pick the next one. So what do you have for the next one? And ladies will compare.
If the phone rings at home from the next room, and I'm not expecting a call, I have no idea who's calling until I get to the phone, of course.
The same.
So
No
Or
idea.
it's an expecting call.
If I'm not expecting, I mean.
Yeah.
The same situation.
Lena, pick the next one, please.
So if a close friend says they need to talk to me, I usually have no idea what to expect. It could be anything, because our life is so unpredictable. So I even don't make plans or predictions what the person might say. I just meet and listen to them.
The same?
Yeah, the same.
I see. Okay, right. Anya, so what do you say about the next one?
So when I'm relaxing or during the night, when I sleep well, relax, I usually can think about making a great decision and to get some ideas, especially best ideas. So you have to be in a balance, to make.
This is what I try to teach my students, that sometimes sleeping well is more important than doing homework at night. So the mind really works better if they are well slept and well fed. Okay. Well, Svetlana, what do you say about the next one?
If I wake up from a strange dream, I think what is still a dream. I don't usually focus on my dreams and don't think that they are like so meaningful. They might be such meaningful ones. I usually like relaxed about that. I take them easy. I don't take them as predictions of my life or destiny.
Yeah. Any
I
other?
accept them as psychological, somehow, like my mind, I mean, clears from some challenges, or I mean, some overwhelm, something like I can't, should I say so, digest in a day.
Process.
Process,
We
yeah.
process
Process.
information. We process documents. When you, for example, apply for a visa, the documents are processed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
process
And we process
in a day.
information. Well, look at 7. Well, a new opportunity arises. If it arises,
Appears.
it appears. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, what do you do? Lena, what do you do?
So actually, I've chose B, but I'm in two minds about this situation,
Mhm.
because if I'm not hesitating, and I'm sure that it's a great idea, and I should choose the chance, yeah, use this chance. I would go for what I feel is right. But if I'm hesitating, I would listen, I would follow to the advice of my nearest and dearest. So, of course, they see the situation better, and because they know me well, so that's why I would follow the advice then.
Okay. Any other options here? Any other choices? The
So,
same?
yeah, I suppose the same. I'm also in two minds about this question.
Okay, let's have a look at the last one. Well, do we remember the word coincidence? When something you coincidence, what happens?
Like something happens, just
Something happens.
Well, when something yeah, like, is it well, the thing that happens, does it surprise you?
yeah, so
Yeah.
Usually does.
not
You're like,
planned, yeah.
it's not planned. So, well, one event happens after another, and it's surprising. Yeah, this is a coincidence. Right. So, what do you say? Do you believe in coincidences?
Sometimes
Yeah.
They might happen, but
they might happen, but very maybe rarely.
Rarely.
They're signals of something. Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. So, what I suggest we do. So, if you have A for an answer, give yourselves 2 points. If you have B for an answer, give yourselves 1 point, and calculate the number of points you have.
A 2 points, yeah?
Yeah, A 2 points, B 1 point. And then we go to page 137. Here we have a scale. So how many points do we have?
11.
11. So you're somewhere in the middle. Okay.
Me too.
Okay. So Svetlana?
10.
10. Okay. So Svetlana is probably closer to the upper parts, while ladies are one step below. So anyway, so here they have a suggestion that those who are closer to 8, they're naturally cautious, act rationally rather than intuitively, and guided by the mind. While people who have more points, well, trust their inner feelings, their intuition or inner feelings. So do we agree on that?
Yeah, partly, yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you said that you developed like logical thinking with time. Well, in my case, I try to develop like the ability to trust my intuition with time. I used to be more
Yeah,
logical, more tried to be more objective, and now I trust more my inner feelings. So, but we are all different. So here, I would focus you on the language, like cautious. When you are cautious, what do? You are naturally cautious. The synonym would be
Try to
Exploration.
careful, probably, yeah? Careful. Like, when do you have to be cautious?
Oh,
In a
when you're
dangerous,
driving.
yeah, when you are driving, you should be cautious. Yeah, or a dangerous situation, you should be cautious. And again, we act rationally or intuitively, so it can be an adverb. So now we are back to the book and again focus a bit more on the language. So the language is quite easy here, but I think what we really might focus on here, our students at B1 plus B2 level might really need the word accurate. So what can be accurate? Grammar can be accurate. We encourage them to be accurate in grammar, but accurate information, yeah, accurate, like meaning correct. Yeah, because sometimes we really need the synonym. Yeah, like this information is fairly accurate or quite accurate. Yeah, like true, correct. And I think that the word is quite easy. They know it, and we can teach that at a relatively early stage. Avoid making like mistakes. Then we also talked about the word coincidence. Yeah, and I think coincidence, very often when we tell stories, I think coincidence is a good word to know, yeah. Any other questions here that we might need? And definitely when we teach the words like advice and advise, we draw our students' attention to spelling. Yeah, because sometimes we don't notice the difference. Yeah, and when we do spelling tasks in tests, and here look at the word pure. You remember we talked about the word pure, like when something is pure, it's like clear. Yeah, pure happiness, pure chance. So it's also like clearly or purely that's used synonymously in this context. So now we do a bit of more language analysis, and I would like you to look at 4 sentences in 2A. Look at the upper part of the page. So here we have some statements. Do you think they would be A's answers or B's answers?
So the first one is for B.
A.
The first one is for A. B.
Rational thinking.
Rational B.
Number 2.
A.
3 would be
A.
And the last one?
B.
Definitely B. Okay, here we have this highlighted in bold words like rational, on impulse, subconsciously, way up. So match them with the synonyms below. Highlighted in bold words. So I'm a very rational thinker would be
objective.
Objective. Uh-huh. Well, on impulse, I married someone I'd only just met.
Oh, no, whim.
On a
On a-
whim. Probably this is a new word, and I would like to draw your attention to the meaning. So the meaning from the context is understandable, but if we look at the dictionary, have a look. So on a whim is a mostly commonly used phrase. I didn't leave just on a whim, so no good reason. But whim is a sudden feeling, something that is unimportant. For example, their father had always indulged her every whim, like every little thing she wanted, like blush, прихоть.
Mm.
The meaning is like here, and that's why on a whim has this meaning, right? Back to the book. Right? So subconsciously would be
Deep down.
deep down, yeah, like
Deep-
I know deep down, like a very easy way to use that. And I think it's important to
Consider.
Consider.
So I think this is a good word to teach our students, consider something and weigh up advantages and disadvantages, especially when we write pros and cons essays, like papers, to consider things. Well, do you know anybody around you who or might marry someone on impulse or on a whim?
Yeah, my best friend Olga got married. Her ex-husband Kirill on a whim, and then they divorced.
They got divorced.
Yeah, the keyword.
No, my parents got
sorry.
married, on a whim, but they didn't. They had known each other for 5 days,
Mhm.
and they lived, a lot of years together.
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends. What I'm
you
trying
know,
to say, my
so
point is that
in
it
the
depends.
past,
Yeah, Anya.
it was a common situation to get married on a whim. Yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
sure
in the
about
past.
that. My dad was a military person and he had to leave the area. That's why there was some
Mhm.
kind of hidden reason why they decided to do this, not to wait for years. Right. So, well, do you always weigh up advantages and disadvantages before you make decisions?
I'm trying to weigh up the advantages and disadvantages before making a decision to make a great choice, a correct choice.
Yeah, especially if it's an important decision, I always try to weigh up the advantages and disadvantages. Even, write them down, the pluses, the minuses, so make the list. So
Sometimes specialists say that you subconsciously know which point you are going to to choose. Even if you put things down, you sometimes say that
you try to find more advantages, for example, to prove that you want it. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Good. So at home, I'll ask you to work with those phrases, and there will be several more phrases. Well, from these four, most of them we know. So any new phrases?
Wait up.
Or on a whim, probably. Yeah,
On a whim.
whim. Okay. So we usually, when we talk about intuition, we say inner feelings sometimes, but there is another way of saying
Trust your
Gut.
gut, like gut feelings. Yeah, like when you trust your gut. So what I want you to do now, I want you to focus on this blue part of the text, this blue box. We'll come back to the second part of the article in a few seconds. So what I want you to do, I want you to read the blue box, this blue part of the article, and about gut instincts, and answer the questions in 3A. There are 3 quick questions. Mhm. So let me know if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mhm. Yeah. So if we focus on the first one, what is the author going to give reader advice about? How would we formulate the advice, Svetlana?
I think the author just sets very important question in front of the reader. How can we know when to trust our intuition and when to let our head rule? So where is the balance between these two?
Mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So
And
learn to trust your gut.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
how our brains work.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. True. So what are the roles of the left and right sides of the brain according to researchers? So if we go back to the text, what was there about the right and left brain?
So the right side so deals with intuition, and whether the left side edits the logical and coherent part. Yeah.
You remember this coherence? We talked about this the other time. What is coherence?
When something is logical and
And
so the ideas are put together logically.
Yeah, are quite
You can easily understand.
Yeah, and connected, right? Okay, and actually, I wanted to show you the book. Well, and this is not about just this article. This approach has been trusted, and Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist, won the Nobel Prize. He calls it System 1 and System 2. His book was available in Russia before the military actions, Thinking Fast and Slow. In Russian, it is called Думай медленно, решай быстро. And this is about the System 1 and System 2. So one is more spontaneous, faster. The other one is slower and takes time, and the lazy part of our brain. And he gives a lot of interesting examples about how and why we use this System 1 a lot. He analyzed the way people look at politicians, make decisions in life, buy things. Like, there are lots of things we use this spontaneous part of our brain a lot more. The rational part of our brain is lazy and takes a lot more energy. And there is, you know, a lot of research about, and a lot of people rely on his research in terms of the psychology of judgment when we make decisions, right? Well, back to the text. What does the writer suggest is a good way to make decisions? So who can comment on that according to this blue box?
So he mentions the symptoms,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
he advises to notice the symptoms of the right side of our brain working. And
mhm, mhm,
if we mention them, then he advises to take the time to evaluate and give yourself a choice then.
to follow the intuition or not. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so in this part of the article, we have 5 paragraphs, and the writer gives advice. So can you go through the paragraphs and match pieces of advice with 5 headings, A, B, C, D, E, with the paragraphs? A couple of more minutes to go through. Okay. Right. Are we ready to check? Okay. So number one, what does it match? So what do you say, ladies? Number one.
I'm in pain.
So yeah, definitely about health.
Mhm.
So number two,
I'm
what
not
do-
sure about you.
I'm not sure about you. So what about number three? It's D. And number four would be
C.
And the last one, do we agree on that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's focus a little bit on the language and then we'll come back to advice. I want you to start with underlined phrases. Look, have a look. In the article, there are some phrases, sentences actually, that are underlined. So let's focus on this one. Too often the left brain dismisses the urge of the right as irrational. The urge, what is the synonym?
Willing, like when person
Wish, will,
will,
yeah. The urge, but urge is a lot like stronger,
emphatic.
more emphasis. When you dismiss something as something, is it like more important or less important?
Less important.
Less important.
The brain
Less
thinks that
important.
the right is less important. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you dismiss something as something, you think it's less important, less like helpful or urgent. Okay, so well, can you think of examples when we act like this, when the left brain dismisses the urge of the right? So what happens actually?
So
Well,
when we don't listen to our heart, but we listen to our brain, yeah, kind of this.
exactly. When we ignore intuition
Mhm.
or gut feelings, does it happen sometimes?
When you
When you
need to make up the rational grown-up
decision.
decision.
So I want you also to focus before we move on the word dismiss in the context of education. Probably you have heard it in films when the teacher says the class is dismissed. When the class is dismissed, so people can leave, can stop doing what they were doing. For example, the teacher is busy and stops earlier or finishes earlier. The class is dismissed. Not the lesson is over, but we stop a bit earlier. So people can dismiss the post, like stop doing what they were doing. But here the meaning is slightly different, to find something less important. But in teaching context, so you may go, the class is dismissed. Okay, so let's go back to the underlined sentences. Letting yourself in for trouble down the road. So what do we have here?
Ah,
Paragraph
Mhm.
1, yeah?
Mhm.
So what is meant here?
Uh, that you don't care and don't pay much attention.
attention.
Mhm.
You have problems. No.
Yeah, like that you are
Like
in
other
trouble.
problems.
Yeah, you are in trouble. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Mhm. Sorry. So if we look at number 2, humanity's oldest survival mechanism, you see underlined here. So what kind of survival mechanisms can we think of that we use when we act?
Escape some
Uh-huh.
situations
Like
which
they
are
run. Yeah, if it's
Uh-huh.
dangerous, like run.
dangerous
Uh-huh.
situations.
Uh-huh.
Or
Or heat.
Or hit somebody, act. Yeah.
that's-
And the third concept, sometimes when people are in danger, they freeze. Yeah.
Freeze. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like
yeah.
freeze. So these are the basic survival mechanisms, like run, act, or freeze.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So what about you? What do you usually do? Do you act? Do you freeze? Do you run away?
I don't know. It's difficult to say.
Depends on the
I
situation.
usually
Depends.
act. I usually act. So some people would escape conflicts.
So
Mhm,
more often I usually act, but sometimes if the situation is unknown or
mhm,
unpredictable, I might freeze.
mhm, mhm. So Anya, what do you do?
So I'm learning how to escape situations.
Danger.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So let's move on. Our urge to help others is often outbeat by other priorities. If people sell something in an auction, when you're outbid, what do? You offer more money.
Oh,
Well,
I-
for example, if it's sales auction, you offer more money, so you buy it
mhm.
because you outbid the price of a different person.
Mhm.
And here the meaning is
Like to be caused.
So, or focus on, look at these other priorities.
Mhm.
Sometimes we focus on
Ourselves.
ourselves or basic needs, yeah,
Mhm.
like very urgent things to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, and let's move on. And here we have this, a decision that could affect the course of your future life. Like this one is good. Yeah, the course of your future life, the course of actions. Well, what kind of decisions can affect our whole course of future life? Can you give examples of such decisions in life?
So choosing your future career or where to study. Yeah.
Getting married,
Get to
Ah,
get
Yeah.
married. Mhm.
Choosing a place to live, like a city, yeah, like a moving to a different place. There are a lot of situations, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, well, if we compare in terms of language use, two parts of the text, so probably this one would be a lot more, full of different interesting phrases. So, are there any phrases that you find interesting to use, or maybe you have questions about? Mm-hmm.
I have a question about the phrase "a tingle up the spine."
Uh-huh.
Like,
Uh-huh. So can you help ladies to find it in the,
1, 2, 3 in the fourth.
yeah, the last but one paragraph.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the last but one.
When we talk about spine, we talk about the backbone, yeah? Like the backbone, this is the spine. When tingle up, there is some little pains like in your spine. You kind of physically feel something. Like it's not painful, but tingle up, like have some feelings in your backbone.
Thank you.
When we want to be a bit more emotional, right? Let's have a look at this one. You remember the word resist? When you have an irresistible urge, you can't
Resist.
you can't resist it. Or, well, again, so you remember the word explain? When something is inexplicable, certainty,
You can't explain. So
you
like,
can't explain
You
it.
can't explain.
Yeah, you can't explain it. It's inexplicable. Okay. Well, then look at this one. When you remain ignorant, when you remain ignorant, what do you do? Do you ignore it? Yes, you remain ignorant.
So you stay ignorant.
Yeah, but blissfully ignorant, you are happy about staying ignorant. And this is very emotional, very critical. Usually people would say it about other people, but as a joke, you can say it about yourself. For example, in this country, now people prefer to stay blissfully ignorant about political and economic problems. Very often people say, I don't care about the war, or I don't care about the politics. I don't know much about it. This is choosing to be ignorant. Okay. Well, Lena focused our attention on tingle up the spine, right? But when your palms, you remember the palms, when they are clammy, what kind of them? They're a bit
Sweaty.
Yes,
Sweaty,
sweaty, because
yeah.
you are usually
Nervous.
yes,
Worried,
exactly.
yeah.
Red.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. When there is an idea or something is nagging you, people can nag, or your head nagging you.
Don't pay attention. Don't pay much
No,
attention.
like nag, it's like keep saying or nagging, like
Annoying.
annoying you.
Annoying.
It's there, yeah, it's there, and you remember this, or you have this physical discomfort, nagging you. Okay. It's something
Bothering.
noticeable, bothering you. Yes,
Bothering.
exactly. Right. Well, if we think of advice that the article gives, so do you agree on what they say? Are there any ideas you can't agree with?
No ideas. I'm going to work with this article tomorrow or at the weekend.
Well, there
Mhm.
were some like 5 pieces of advice, 5 suggestions
Mhm.
when you can trust your gut feeling. Which do you think is more important for you and why?
I think number 1 is quite important because people, I mean, especially me, tend to let myself in for trouble down the road because I like ignore symptoms
Mm-hmm.
of my body symptoms and
Yeah.
postpone visiting doctors.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So, oh, that's okay.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. I'll think about it later. Yeah. This is what we always do. Any surprising ideas?
So I'm really into minds about the idea about help.
Yeah.
I've never thought of being helpful in this way, so that I would get something from out of mm, that help. Yeah, I suppose my help is never outbid by my priorities, but so maybe it's just my thoughts and somewhere deep inside, yeah, deep down,
Yeah. Well,
we have our own priorities. I've never thought about that.
but well, if people or friends ask you for help, like very often we deep down we are ready to help. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that this is a kind of a old system in us that, you know,
Mhm.
works as a survival instinct that we help people around. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I have never thought about it either.
and C, number 4, and number 4, trust your gut to get you through the most stressful of occasions. When people under stress, under pressure, it's easy to forget how to do something like
Mhm.
you can do very well, and you start. You must feel relax a bit and trust your intuition more. This way to cope.
Yeah, yeah. And it's quite difficult to teach yourself to relax,
Yeah.
to take time and really give yourself time to do something if you're tired. Yeah. Well, um, is it easy? In which situations would you follow your gut instincts? When do you think I'll think about it? But which you would say, well, my gut instincts are always right. So in which situations would you, like minor things in life, that you would follow your gut instincts?
Yeah, I always, personally, I always try to follow my gut instincts when I meet new people. Because if I don't like the person or something worries me and I decide not to trust these people, this first impression is usually accurate. And so about people, so I don't think that my intuition works quite well about everything else in life, but about people. So I try to avoid those if I have some wrong feeling about them.
Okay.
Talking about my child, I always try to follow my inner intuition. Try to make a correct decision.
Well, you at home, you are going to listen to the talk about doctors trusting their intuition and if it's professional or not. And I would like you to think about teachers' intuition at the moment. And besides, Daniel Kahneman, in his book, says that when we talk about professional intuition, it's not about gut feeling.
Mhm.
It's about life experience,
Experience.
professional experience. And as far as I remember, I'm not sure, but I think it was about firemen, when he said that if a professional fireman looks at the situation, he can, or she, usually he, can clearly see how dangerous it is because there are certain images of different dangerous cases. So if it's dangerous or not, it's not about like gut feeling, it's about assessing things very, very quickly, practically intuitively. And so when being a teacher, so do you trust your gut feelings about your students, about what to do, how to respond? You are psychologists, so what do you say?
So I am in two minds because sometimes I have to trust my professional intuition, but also, yeah, we shouldn't forget about gut feeling intuition, yeah, how to behave with our pupils, how to deal with them, to help them to make the correct choice.
So when, for example, you have discipline problems, yeah,
Oh.
sometimes
So that-
it's important to be strict. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
important to be kind. Yeah, like it's all about kind of
To
gut feeling.
involve them in the process, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Gut
yeah.
involvement.
In different situations, you would probably act differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
But kind, sometimes kind and but persistent.
Yes, yes, true about that. So any other examples dealing with parents? Do you usually trust your gut feelings, what to say? Sometimes people say, teachers say that parents are more difficult than students.
I've got good parents.
Lucky you are.
Problem. So they usually trust me and say, do
Whatever you like.
whatever you like. Yeah, we are satisfied. So,
Okay. So let's do a bit of language analysis. It's not quite connected with the topic. It's more connected with style and putting things in writing or like speaking in a more complex or way. So look at task 4A, noun phrases. Here we have noun phrases that can help us be more concise probably, but sometimes a bit more complex in a way. So what I want you to do now, I want you to analyze part of speech. The task is quite easy, but we do it just to get the pattern. For example, air, what is that, air?
article.
Funny.
Adjective.
Yeah, definitely.
Adjective.
Then we have noun.
Noun.
Preposition, possessive, and
Possessive.
noun.
Okay, so which means number one is
C,
Is
very
C, variant C.
Mhm.
So take a moment, just read carefully. It's easy, but so you get the pattern of what you have to do.
I'm ready.
So which part of speech is tricky for Russians?
So whether
tricky.
Tricky. Yeah.
it
I think determiners. When people take TKT, they find it difficult. Possessive or determiners, and there is a bit of confusion very often. So these, that are usually determined. Mhm. So let's see, number 2, that narrow parking space, what would it be?
D. Determinant plus adjective plus compound noun.
Okay. So number 3, humanity's oldest survival mechanisms.
B.
Okay. An irresistible urge to ask.
F.
Number 5, gut feelings.
A.
A.
Okay, and the
A,
last
yeah.
one, commonly reported indicators, E. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we
E.
have this pattern in mind, I want you to look at B. Problem with some C1 learners that we use too many of structures. Some students use a lot of complex relative clauses, which is also not sometimes very natural. So let's try to think of 6 phrases here, and in brackets, you have ideas how to improve them, how to rewrite them. For example, a meeting which happens by chance, article, noun, noun. So what would it be? You don't add anything, you just change the wording or drop some words.
Like a chance meeting.
Chance meeting.
Yes. So this is what you have to do. So follow the recommendations in brackets and change the structure. Let me know if you're ready. Well, this is like very Russian phrase, like the dreams of my friends, like we overuse because of this родительный падеж. So what would be more natural way of saying that?
My close friend's dreams.
My close friend's dream. So with our students, we teach that we use possessive with people, not things. The first thing when we introduce possessive case, they want to use a lot of possessive case forms, but we use it with people. So number 3, Svetlana, what do you have here?
A day to remember.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, very not to overuse, which you will. Those
Mhm.
relative clauses. We drop
Mhm.
this part.
Mhm.
Этой. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
look at number 4. A dream which is so vivid that it disturbs you. So here we have article, adverb, adjective, noun. Uh-huh.
Disturbing.
Disturbingly.
Uh-huh. Good. And we need an adjective.
A vividly disturbing dream.
No.
Ed.
So
Something-
think about one thing. What is vivid?
Obvious.
Vivid is like very obvious, clearly seen, like very visual.
Mhm.
So, well, which adjective do we need? We need
Vivid.
vivid or disturbing. So dream, when you can clearly see the dream,
Vivid dream.
a vivid dream.
Vivid.
Yeah.
And you
Vivid.
make it stronger using
Mhm.
a disturbingly vivid dream,
Uh-huh.
Ah,
as if it's a real life.
it
You
is
see,
disturbing.
you wake up and see, oh, it was very real, like
Uh-huh. It is
disturbingly vivid.
very-
Mhm. So with adverbs, you remember it's kind of tricky to use them because they sometimes don't go very well with adjectives. You develop a habit of noticing adverbs which go very well with adjectives. So number 5, what do we have in number 5? Any
Dark
variants?
secret thoughts.
Thoughts. Ага.
Да.
Yeah, yeah. Dark secret thoughts.
Dark
Yeah.
secret.
And number 6? So with this 4, what goes with 4?
Imagine. The human capacity for imagining.
Capacity for something. Yeah,
Yeah.
the capacity for something. We are capable of doing something. So there is a capacity for, and we need a noun. So what do we change into a noun?
Imagination.
Yes, absolutely. The human capacity for imagination.
Mhm.
We are capable of imagining things, sounds more spoken, while when you write an academic paper, you would say the human capacity for imagination. So this is more about noticing and improving your style. At home, there will be a couple of tasks when you have to restructure things or notice things, but it's more about noticing and copying and imitating certain things and developing a pattern. So speaking of intuition and gut feelings, I want you to blah, 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 to think of having a hunch when you having a hunch. When you have a hunch, you have a guess or actually a suspicion, some kind of gut feeling that something happens. I know that Lena and Anya are friends and they know each other very, very well, but maybe not everything, right? And you met Svetlana several times in class and outside the class. So I want you to make statements about each other, about something that was in the past, or maybe something that is common now. I have a hunch, that Lena, Svetlana, Anya, and why you think this way. So here I have some suggestions in mind, okay? Well, was or wasn't a conscientious student. Who is a conscientious student? Very
Responsible.
responsible, hardworking,
Productive.
productive, yeah. Often takes or doesn't take spontaneous decisions about something. You can develop that. always weighs up pros and cons, things being sensible or emotional is dull or boring. So you can change. This is just the idea for you. So I have a hunch that, so make a statement about one of the students in class.
So I have a hunch that Svetlana was a conscientious student at university.
Why is that? Can you develop a bit? Develop.
Because she seems to be a very responsible person, and so I suppose getting knowledge is very important for her.
Okay. So, any other guesses, suspicion, ideas?
I have a hunch that Elena always weighs up the process and cons of big decision by making a list. But so I suppose we, Lena, and we always do like this only to make sure that we will make a right decision, something like this.
To prove our gut instinct.
Yeah, to prove our choice. Yeah.
Okay, Svetlana, any hunches about other girls?
I think Anya sometimes goes with her gut instincts. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But she often weighs up the pros and cons of big decisions by making a list.
Okay. Right. Think about, well, can you think of something which is not on the slide, like maybe something that is like to make it more enjoyable for other people to listen to. Think about teaching, raising children, dealing with husbands. We don't, well, you know, this is a hunch. It's just a guess. We don't know. Maybe food preferences. So
I have a hunch that Lena enjoys traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And she's quite adventurous person.
Yeah, like this way you show respect that you remember facts about people. Yeah. Okay. So Lena, Anya?
I have a hunch that Anya prefers spending more time with her friends and relaxing because she loves her family very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a hunch that ladies prefer traveling around the world, meeting with new people, and enjoy yourselves a lot. Ourselves.
Themselves.
Themselves. Yeah,
Themselves. Okay.
I have a hunch that Svetlana has a very good relationship with her son because she's always interested and knows well about his interests, and she usually tells us about some facts from his life. So I suppose that they are good friends.
Yeah. Mhm.
I have
Okay.
a hunch that Lena prefers listening to laid back music,
Mhm.
classical, no, relaxed music.
I
Okay.
actually I prefer to stay quiet, not to listen to anything.
Anything.
Yeah, because
Okay.
my husband and my daughters really enjoy listening to music, to some recordings, and when I come home, I always ask, please, let's be quiet.
To
Uh-huh.
stay alone,
Okay.
yeah, for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. Such a
Great.
dull person that stops the music.
Uh-huh. So a piece, but everybody needs a piece of quiet moments in
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's stop here for a break, for a coffee break, and then we'll resume the session about
Mhm.
skills,
Thank you.
productive skills.